Did you know that the average job seeker wastes 11 hours a week looking at jobs that aren't even relevant to their skill set? That's over 500 hours a week, or in other words, 12 full work weeks, just scrolling away looking at jobs that you're never going to get, or quite frankly, even want to get. After going through this myself and hearing many friends and family members going through the same thing, the same terrible, vicious cycle, I decided within myself that enough is enough. So I built an automated system that does all of this work for me. An AI powered job matching automation that runs while I sleep, scanning platforms like Upwork or Fiverr or even Indeed for new job listings that match my skill set and alerting me only for the perfect matches. Yeah, it sounds crazy, I know, but trust me, this is actually possible and it's a lot simpler than you might think. And it's pretty cost effective, especially if you're using one or two of the tools that we're going to be talking about in today's video. So if you're tired of endlessly scrolling through job listings, looking at dozens and dozens, hundreds upon hundreds of jobs that are simply irrelevant, stick around because in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build this system for yourself so you can begin saving some time, getting that time back into your life and applying to jobs that actually matter. And the best part is you can build this entire system without writing a single line of code. Let's do it. So first things first, let me go ahead and show you really quickly what the outcome actually looks like. So the outcome of the automation, what it will do, if it all works well, you'll get an email directly into your inbox of choice, of course, with a notification saying that a new job has been found that it is a great fit for you. In my case, I'm analyzing jobs that are posted on Upwork, but this can in theory work with other things such as Indeed, Fiverr, you name it. If it's listing jobs, it can work for this. But anyways, my automation is set up so that it tells me the date that the job was posted, the title of the job, the description. This is actually what is put on the job listing itself, the budget that they've specified, the score. So, and we'll get into this later, but AI will rate this job a rating between 1 through 10. That way I know exactly how good of a fit it is for me personally. A reasoning score. So it actually explains why the score was given, the URL for the job, and then my Airtable base so that I can see more information about the job and all the other jobs that may be in my database at any given time. Cool. So that's what the end result looks like. All right, now let's go ahead and take a quick look at how this automation functions from start to finish. We won't dive deep just yet, but I'll highlight the key components involved and of course the software that is needed for this automation to function. So if you haven't noticed already, we're going to be using make.com as our overall building block. This is what we use to connect all the tools and run all the automation functions. Now, the main tool apart from make.com is a software called Appify. And what Appify is simply a marketplace basically for web scrapers. And if you don't know what web scraping is, it's simply, like taking data from the web and essentially doing it automatically so you don't have to manually extract data from anything. Upwork, Google Maps. I mean, there's just boundless ways that you can scrape data from the internet. But anyways, Appify works very well for these kinds of automations, especially with make.com, considering its native integration with make.com. Anyways, so specifically with this automation, we're going to be using an actor, which is just a specific scraper within the Appify platform. This is called the Upwork Scraper Without Stale Job Posts. Now it costs $10 a month on top of your Appify subscription. So right now on this account, I have a free account because I'm not using this actively at this moment, but I think it's like $40 a month. If you do the monthly, $49 a month to start. This is what I was using originally when I did pay for this, and it was plenty for me. So $49 a month on the monthly, 44 on the annual. So it'd be $50 plus $10 a month. So that's what this actor does. Now the next part is a database, and I prefer to use Airtable. It's really my recommendation. You can do this with Google Sheets, but I wouldn't recommend it because of just several reasons. But if you are looking for a free solution that's always going to be free, Google Sheets can get the job done. Airtable, on the other hand, is a paid solution. However, the free tier, which is what I'm using, what I've always been using, at least thus far, is great. So in this automation, at least I'm using the free solution. So in theory, you could as well. And the last tool is OpenAI, or in other words, ChatGPT, which is going to be used to analyze the jobs and score them, of course. So that's how it works. Now let's go ahead and dive into it in more detail so you can see how it actually works and you get a better understanding of how to set it up for yourself. And if I haven't said this already, these blueprints, there's two of them. There'll be two blueprints, number one and number two. They will be available for free in the description below in my Gumroad. So just click the link below to download the blueprints, and then you can set it up in your own make.com account for yourself and get rolling a lot quicker. Cool. So let's go ahead and just now break down exactly how the system works a little bit deeper. So the trigger for this automation is predetermined, pre-made search URLs for Upwork. Now, what I mean by that exactly is, let me go ahead and open Upwork and show you an example. So if we go to Upwork and go to find work, that's where I'm on actually. You can search, whatever you want. So I do a lot of web design, automation, and stuff like that. So what you would do is create a search that matches exactly what you're looking for, obviously. So I have some pre-made saved searches, and what you would do is set it up as much as you want. You can add some advanced filters, like you don't want to have any of these words in the job description, job title, whatever it may be. And again, guys, this can work with more than just Upwork. If you're looking for jobs like on Indeed or Fiverr is much more similar to this, considering it's a freelancer platform like Upwork. But in theory, this could work with things like Indeed. And even you could even reverse engineer this to function as a, how would I call that? Like a hiring assistant. So if you're actually hiring people for a job that of your own, you can reverse engineer and, tweak this automation to examine proposals and resumes that people are submitting and applying for your job. And it can really streamline the hiring process. So just, something to consider. But anyways, back to the search URLs. So you set this thing up, whatever. And then what you do is you would copy the search URL, right? So right click, copy, and you would map that into a database. So I have, this is my Airtable base, and I went ahead and pasted the URL. And so I just have a bunch of well, I only have two right now, but in theory you can have, dozens upon dozens, as many as you want, of different search terms, because whatever you have here as a URL, that's what's going to be used as the source for the scraping. Now, I have a bunch of columns here, as you can see, and these aren't necessary. This is just so that I can at a glance see what this URL is about, because a URL in and of itself is not going to tell me much. So this just gives me some more information to understand what this URL is referring to, but it's not entirely necessary, nor is it required for the automation itself to function. All we need is the URL. So what my automation is doing is it is every 24 hours searching for new listings based off those URLs, and it's doing them one at a time. So as you can see, I have two different URLs, so it's doing both of them one at a time. So it does the first one, and once it's done, it does the second one. And that's what this iterator model does. It just takes multiple tasks and does them one at a time. That's the simplest way I can put it. Now, the way that the app of Actor functions, and the reason this system is so effective and so just really, really, really good, at least in my opinion, it's very good. Like I said, I have it set up to run every 24 hours. And the reason for that is because this Appify scraper specifically is designed to not give you stale job posts, meaning it will not give you any results, or in other words, any job listings that have not been posted within 24 hours. So in other words, if a job was posted more than one day ago, it won't show up. And that way you're only getting fresh job posts. So that would be this button right here, filter jobs posted in the last 24 hours. Now this is how it looks on the back end, manually doing things, but within make.com itself, it's a little different, but it's the same thing essentially. Now, I know this looks a little bit intimidating, the JSON, but you could just go onto Appify itself, set things up manually. So let me go ahead and show you. So I would put my search URL, copy this bad boy, copy, and then go to Appify. Remember, make sure you find the exact same scraper, Upwork scraper with fresh job posts. You would go to set it up, the input, paste that URL. Perfect. If you want to do more than one, in this case, don't do that. Just add one URL, because we're only using this as a way of getting the information that we can feed into make.com. But if you already know what you're doing with JSON and stuff, you can skip this part. But this is mostly for the beginners that don't know exactly how to use this. So paste the URL there, and then you would start modifying or setting your rules, how you want to actually go about scraping. So I would definitely recommend the filter jobs posted in the last 24 hours. That way you're only getting, fresh jobs. For proxy country code, you're going to want to put your country code. So I'm in the US, so I would put US, and then I think that's it. Remove duplicates. I haven't found that really makes a big difference. Maybe it's just me, but turn it on. I don't think it's going to do any harm, but run a couple tests. And then if you switch over to JSON, this gives you everything that you need for make.com. So once you set up everything manually, just hit JSON, copy all of that, go back to make.com, your run an actor module, and paste that right there. Now, I don't know if I think I didn't cover this, but of course you're gonna have to make a connection and select the actor itself. And you can only see the actor if you've done a run once. So just do a quick test run manually. And then once you do that, you'll be able to see it within make.com. Sorry if I didn't mention that earlier. All right. So once you do that, you're gonna map the URL to the actual URL, because if you hard code it, meaning if you actually manually type it in, then this isn't an automation. It's something you're just going to do manually. So you want this to run automatically. So I'm taking the value of my URL, which I'm filtering one at a time through the iterator module. So that is the value object from the iterator. So we have, two options here. We have the flow control iterator and then get search terms. And if I highlight over them with my cursor, you can see that the module starts pulsing. That's how you know what you're referring to. So it's just the value object from the iterator module. Cool. So you set that right there for URL, and everything else is good to go. I don't think you need to set anything else up there. Run synchronously, do not check that, and then hit OK, hit save. So that's how that's set up. Now, if you don't know how to find these modules, remember this automation blueprint is available in the description for free. So just download it and upload it into your account, hit the more button, import, boom, good to go. But if you need to set it up manually, it's very simple. Just, add a module, right click, add a module, find Airtable. And if it's iterator, then you could just type in iterator and it'll pop up right there. All right. So that's how this first one is set up. And the reason you have to split the automation into two scenarios is mainly because of the way that Apify functions. So we're triggering the automation, or excuse me, the web scraping in one automation. And in the second, it's catching the completed task, the completed scrape. So automation number 2, when the scrape is complete, watch actor runs. You set that up by just connecting via webhook. I'm not going to get into that right now, but if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below and I'll try and explain that better. The second thing is to acquire the data. That's what I call it, which is just to get the data set items. So when a actor run is complete, you need to actually acquire the data that was produced with that scrape. So this is just triggering when a scrape is complete. It's just a notification essentially. And then here you would acquire the data from that scrape. So remember, we're doing this with multiple searches. So in theory, if you have, 5 of them, you're going to want this automation to trigger 5 times. And that's the reason that this Apify is set up this way. So if you don't want it to just trigger once for all 5, because then it's just not going to work right. You need it to set up, you need it to trigger once for each run, each scrape. So that's what happens with these 2 modules. The next thing is, and this is really what makes this automation so powerful, so effective, is we're leveraging AI, specifically ChatGPT, OpenAI, to analyze the job listings that's scraped and referencing everything regarding you. In this case, it's obviously me. So I have, very strenuously worked with ChatGPT manually to get it to understand everything about me and what it is that I'm looking for a job. So, my skill sets, the platforms that I use, the solutions that I offer, the things that I want to stay away from, things that I'm not comfortable with, the things that I specifically do not do or want to do, all this stuff. And the way that I would recommend doing that with you guys is simply just, using ChatGPT. I have it downloaded on my computer already, and just, talking with it and tell it, hey, I'm trying to develop a AI model that is trained on me, everything about me and my skill set, because I'm looking to apply for jobs online on Upwork, whatever it is, and you want it, you can even reverse engineer it and have it just, tell you, what do you think is the best way to go about it? What do you need from me to develop a profile, whatever. And then afterwards, after you do that with ChatGPT, you would tell it to create a prompt, a system prompt that then you can feed into the AI module within make.com, which is what I've done. So I told it that, you're an AI assistant that evaluates Upwork job postings based on their relevance to Venture, which is my company's expertise. Your task is to analyze job listings, even if field names, formats, or languages vary, and return as structured JSON response based on the predefined schema. So I give it a schema later on, but essentially what I'm asking it to do is, what it sounds like, analyze the job that is being provided based on how much of a good fit it is to me and whether or not I should apply to it. So I just go, give it a bunch of parameters and whatnot. I can provide this script in the description if you want. And sorry, not script, prompt. This is pretty specific to me, but if you get this blueprint, you'll have access to it anyway. So you can get an idea of how it works, and you can copy and paste the whole thing, feed it to ChatGPT and say, I need to create something like this, but for me. And it'll help you. It's pretty amazing. So yeah, that's how that works. And the next prompt is a user prompt, which is the actual task. And I'm asking, AI, here is an Upwork job listing that needs evaluation. Analyze the job based on the provided details and return a structured JSON response. So this is the information for the job. So, you have the job title, the job link, the description, the published date, the skills, the payment type, budget, and project length. So that's how all of that works, and it'll produce the result in JSON. And the reason for that is so that I can actually map each result into Airtable as its individual records, or excuse me, individual fields. And it is very important, you have to set the response format to JSON object. Otherwise, it won't actually be JSON that you can map individually. And I recommend doing the parse JSON response. It just saves you operations. So instead of adding a parse JSON module, which is essentially the same thing that would do, it could just do it in the same operation. So instead of doing, 10 operations here, for example, and then 10 operations here, you're just doing 10 there. So that's my recommendation. It works pretty well in my experience. So I went ahead and ran a test just so you can see what the output would look like. So the input that ChatGPT was given was this job right here. I don't know if job link is available. Let's just pull up the job so you can see what the job itself is. So this is an Upwork job, executive assistant, personal assistant needed, posted 2 weeks ago, blah, blah, blah. This is the job. Now this is not very relevant to me. So let's see how the AI did. That's what it was fed into it. And the result is as follows. Well, I'll show you the Airtable. It's a lot easier to see. Here it is. So, oh wait, no, this isn't it. Did I not run oh no. I actually didn't run the full automation. My bad. I just ran the test within here and just this module, just the AI. I didn't actually make it run the entire scenario. So anyways, here's the job title. And notice how the result is different objects. So you have job title, job link, job description, published date, relevancy score, reasons for score. So we got all these things. They're all individual objects that then can be mapped again individually back into Airtable. So the job title, it got the job title, the link, the description. This is all automated, from it's pulled from the job listing itself. This isn't anything, creative. And then the relevancy score, this is important. This is, like I said before, this is where it analyzes the job itself based on all the data provided and gives a score based on how relevant it is to me and whether or not I should apply to it. So it gave it a 3 out of 10, so it's not relevant at all. And then it explains, why it gave that score. Preferred tools matched and restricted tools mentioned. That's just a custom thing that I've added so that if it mentions any tools that I have specified to watch out for, that being tools that I do want to use or tools that I don't want to use, it just, highlights them. And it's really just for my own benefit. So at a glance, I can see fairly quickly what a job may be entailing. And then estimated budget, $15 to $20 an hour. Client flexibility is true, blah, 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 whatever. Those are the important things. And then it would add all of that dynamically into Airtable, have a bunch of different field types specifically for that data. So here's an example, and this is before I started using ChatGPT's parse JSON the built-in parse JSON. I had a individual module for that, which again, you could do this. It's not like you can't. If for whatever reason you feel it's better, you can. There's nothing wrong with it. You're just going to use more operations, as you can see. So 10 operations was used here for the AI model, and then an additional 10 was used because every job needs to have an automation. It needs to function. It needs to go through this process each time for each job, each individual job. So as you can imagine, the more modules you have after the AI, it's going to double, triple, quadruple in operation count. So it could add up quickly if you're not careful. So you don't need this. But anyways, I had 10 jobs fed into this, and it just went one by one, giving me the results of each job, job title, blah blah blah. So you notice I didn't parse the JSON. So this is a raw JSON. So it's essentially doing the same thing. I won't talk about it anymore, but just so you guys know, it's the same thing. And then it fed all that data into Airtable. I don't have it anymore because this was a while ago. All that data has been deleted, but it would feed it into Airtable and look something like this. Let me hide this. And I prefer to look at Airtable like a standard sheet, but you could look at it as a gallery. There's different kind of views you can do, but I'll just expand this so you can see. So the title would go here. This is not automated. This is something that I have to keep track of. So if I want to, just change the status, if I've applied to it, I would change it. If my application's being reviewed, I would click that, whatever. But that's not what this video is about. It's about the automations. So date posted does get populated. The time since post, this is a formula. So it takes the automated data from the date posted, and let me pull it up here. Date, time since post. This is a formula that just basically just gives you how much time has passed since the job was posted. And it is complicated. And pro tip, I don't know how to write these formulas, and you don't need to know how to write formulas like this. Just ask ChatGPT to do it for you. Tell it what you want, and it will write you a formula. Just say, hey, I need a formula for Airtable to do X, Y, and Z, and it will literally write it for you. And it's like perfect 9 out of 10 times. So pro tip. Anyways, that's what that does. Then, of course, you got the description of the job is posted right there, the budget, the score explanation, preferred tools mentioned, like I mentioned before, and then the recommended action. This is awesome. So this is what's going to trigger the actual email being sent. So if the AI thinks that this job is, fantastic and a really good fit for you and that you should apply, it'll automatically say apply now. And if that's the case, I have an automation built inside of my Airtable base that is based on conditions. So when a record matches conditions, and the conditions are when the recommended actions field, so let me widen this a little bit. So if a record has, where is it, recommended action. So this column right here, recommended actions, if it says apply now, well, I have it just saying apply, just in case AI is different. It doesn't say apply now. It may just say apply sometimes. That has never happened to me before, but it's just a fail safe. If it has the words apply into that record, then, well, that plus a score of 7 or above. Now, I just added that. It's not necessary because generally speaking, it's only going to say apply now if it's like a really good score. But I did this just as a secondary failsafe. So it needs to have a score of 7 or above right here. If these conditions are met, then it will trigger and send me an email with all the information about the job, which I showed earlier. Here it is. So a new Upwork job that is a great fit for you has been found through your Upwork scraper automation. They posted the title, description, blah, 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 all the good stuff. And then I just click here if I want to go ahead and see, all the data, all the other jobs. And because my process of applying to jobs is a little bit more robust. I don't just like, for Upwork specifically, you want to make a cover letter, and I personally record personalized videos so I can introduce myself and show them how I'd actually solve their problem as simply as possible. Just helps me stand out, a little bit more than the rest of the people applying. But yeah, anyways, that's how it works, guys. This is a very, very powerful system. As you can imagine, this could significantly streamline your job application process, whether it's Upwork, Fiverr, Indeed, you name it. I mean, if it can be scraped, then it can be automated. And Appify is just a fantastic platform. If you're not using it already, use it. And if you're not leveraging AI for things like this, guys, you got to start doing that. I mean, it's incredibly powerful. And Make.com specifically is very affordable, very reliable, very easy to use. So anyways, if you're ready to take your job hunting to the next level, Give this system a try. Download it for free in the description below. Visit my Gumroad and you can download these 2 blueprints and import them into your make.com account for free and, get this thing started pretty darn quick. The only difference is you're gonna have to do, of course, is modify the AI information so that it matches you and your skill set or your company, whatever it may be, because otherwise it's gonna be me. And that's we're not the same person, obviously. But anyways, long story short, that's how this thing works, guys. It's very, very powerful. So if you found this video helpful, let me know. Give me a comment down below, like the video, subscribe, share this with your friends. This is, it's just a very good system, and I know that it's going to help a lot of people. So I pray that it does help you and really helps, just make your job search process less torturous. I know how much it sucks. A couple summers ago, I applied to, good Lord, I applied to well over 100 jobs within like a month. And the amount of time that I spent doing that is, I don't even know how long it was, but it was a long time. Eventually I got a job and it was a good job, but it took forever, man. And it sucked, constantly just scrolling through jobs. Oh, that one sounds kind of good. Clicked it. And then it's actually not that good. And then go back, keep scrolling. It's like, it's numbing. It's mind rot. Honestly, it's brain rot to me. I don't know how it is for you, but this system completely changes the game. And it's just, it happens in your sleep. And it's very effective, very reliable, and very accurate. If you train the AI accordingly, you take the time to get it to understand you, run some tests, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. So if you use the system and you try it out, let me know what you think about it down in the comment section below. And if you have any other questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out as well. Yeah, that's it for today, guys. I pray that this really helps and opens the door for some more creative ideas in this space. This is not just for Upwork. Like I said a million times already, you can do this for many other strategies. So God bless you guys. Thanks so much for watching. I really do pray that this helps you, and share with a friend. I'm sure it can help somebody else that you know. God bless you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.